guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today in the Ask SSM video series, got an email from a subscriber. This is a young guy, he is 21 years old, been following me for a while, and he's looking for my help about a situation that a friend of a friend is in where his girlfriend has pretty much stopped having you-know-what with the guy until the guy puts a ring on her finger. In other words, she's using the oldest trick in the book to get a guy to get a commitment, but the ultimate commitment, marriage, by refusing to sleep with him. And this guy wanted to know my advice as how he thinks how this dude ought to handle this situation. Now, I'm sure this guy's been following me for a while. He knows exactly what I'm going to say. But I thought it'd be a good one here to go over because a lot of guys, sadly, that don't have a lot of options, fall for this trick. They're with the girl for a while, and all of a sudden she says pretty much, I want a ring or I want a commitment, and I'm not going to give no more sex until that happens. Or a guy starts dating a girl and no sex until he's told a firm commitment, that type of thing. And I thought it'd be a very good one to go over here because, like I said, because a lot of guys fall for this. But also, this guy is going to explain also what is going on the scenes with this guy. And you can definitely see when he explains this in this email I'm going to read, why this guy is going for this. What's going on in his life causing him obviously not to have a whole lot of strength and being able to stand up for himself. And so I thought it'd be a very good one because a lot of guys that aren't happy with themselves, unhappy with their lives, unhappy where their lives are going or not going where they want to be, are very worn down. And people that are worn down are susceptible by being taken advantage of by other people that see them as easy prey, which is one of the many reasons I encourage you guys really to work on yourselves, both physically, but also both on the inside and out. And that way you can be the best you can be. So you're always feeling good and confident with who you are. And that way people won't take advantage of you, because when you're feeling good, nobody's going to take advantage of you. But if you're feeling worn down and you'll take what you can get, everybody's going to come after you and take advantage of you. And you're going to see that here. So that'd be a very good one. And oh, by the way, this guy certainly means well, but he wrote this in a way that was kind of all over the place. So I went back as best I could to alter some things to make it easier to read, because it's a good one. It's just a little hard to follow. So I made some modifications. He'll notice this when he listens to this. So bear with me, even though I tried my best here to adjust his email. There's good points to this. So it says here, he starts off, he says, Hey SSM, I've been a viewer of your channel since late March or early April of 2020. I think you were just about 3,000 subscribers when I subbed to you after 2 days of the algorithm blessing me with your videos. Needless to say, I'm a fan, and I find your advice very practical and helpful as a 21-year-old that's 3 months into a relationship. Bro, you were there right from the beginning. You're probably there when I was still doing videos on my couch in my condo. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. Man, I sucked back then, but thank you for sticking with me. The message was the same, but the delivery was not nearly as entertaining or good. I thought about writing you in for advice on my situation, but I think I've learned enough from your videos to keep my rose-tinted glasses prescription and notice any red flags. No, today I'm writing about someone a bit removed from life. So I apologize in advance for a lack of clear details where it matters. The situation is as follows. He says, I was going to my sister's nephew's first birthday because she was visiting for the weekend. A little sibling bonding for a day. On the way to the party, her boyfriend called. After shooting the shit with her for a bit, he told me about his best friend who's been with his girlfriend for 2.5 years. If I recall, he is 24 years old and she is 27. Red flag. This part is hazy, so maybe on the other way around. I'm sorry for the lack of clarity. Around 6 months ago, she decided that she wanted to be a celibate until marriage in what even my sister described as a way to pressure him into marriage. They've been dating for a couple of years, and out of nowhere, she's going to be celibate. In other words, put a ring on my finger or you're not getting any. Any guy with any value is going to say, we're in a romantic relationship, we're doing the hooking up. Especially we've been hooking up all along. And if we're not hooking up, I'm finding somebody else, we're done. But for a guy that's worn down, as you're going to see, puts up with it. He obviously didn't like it, but he loved her and didn't want this to end then. So he's obviously still been with her for this last half a year. Smack! What kind of weak-ass shit is that? Well, you're going to see what's going on behind the scenes. My sister's boyfriend and I are obviously baffled by this. And apparently he hasn't liked the girl since the beginning and has always been searching for evidence of infidelity to save his best friend. My sister says that she loves her boyfriend and my sister says that she, the woman here in the story, loves her boyfriend and only wants to be with him. She just wants the ring and for them to move in together. They both still live with their parents. Well, that's not the way to get a guy to be committed and love you. That's manipulation. That's using a leverage. Okay, she's using his feelings for her to get her way. Okay, and it's forcing a situation was never ever good in relationships. That guy, when he's ready, I guarantee you, will put a ring on her finger. But by the way, notice 27 years old. What I always tell you about that number 30 coming up. Women are scared shitless of that, and a lot will do whatever they got to do to get a ring on their finger, the engagement ring, to have things in the direction of walking down the aisle before they turn 30. And also a lot of girls by that age of 27 are with dudes that they normally wouldn't give the time of day with when they were younger to be guaranteed that ring. That's what happens. If you guys watch me a while, you notice this pattern here. And by the way, she's older than him, 3 years older. It should be the opposite. But, and so obviously it's easier for her, more life experience, to manipulate the guy. Because she's probably an old hand at this. The guy has apparently been dealing with depression, ding, 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 amongst other struggles. As a man in his mid-20s, he works as a substitute teacher because he failed the firefighter exam twice and is frustrated because he feels like he isn't where he wants to be or should be right now. Totally understandable. A man has to have a purpose. And a man's worth, for him to feel good about himself, is success and achieving what he wants to achieve. When a guy isn't doing that, they feel worn down. They feel like a loser. And they can be susceptible, especially if they have depression problems, to being taken advantage of. As relatable as that sentiment is, I dare not to imagine how painful it must be to lose the sex from your girl of 2 years in the middle of it. To top it all off, according to my sister's boyfriend, he tried to cheat, but got rejected by the woman he was aiming for. We all have our opinions on cheating, but I think that may be a critical factor in determining whether he rushes into this marriage or not. After all, he tried unsuccessfully to cheat and his girlfriend won't do him unless he puts a ring on her finger. Combine that with his depression, and I fear his "it won't get any better than this" mentality may peak. Probably. Now, cheating ain't cool. Absolutely. He should just break up with her if he needs to get some that much. But obviously he's not strong enough to do that. But I can tell you right here, he failed the firefighter test twice. He's worn down. And I guarantee you this girl he tried to cheat with probably could read him. She could see that he obviously wasn't very confident in himself. Probably had a aura of desperation in his personality and the whole vibe of a desperate vibe. And it turned her off. Or I don't know, there could be other factors there, but the point is, I'm sure if he was a firefighter, and women love firefighters because they seem as heroic, which they are, he'd be feeling a lot better. He probably could have gotten that girl. But I'm going to come back to that more in the end. My sister's boyfriend is determined to talk some sense into him, but you know the old saying, with horses and water. My sister told me that they met in high school, started off as friends, went through college as the two that liked each other, but didn't want to ruin the friendship, got together, split up, and then reunited 2.5 starts from there. She is his first time and first love, supposedly. Another issue. I think he's taking what he can get, especially because my sister described him as giving off that brother vibe and cute. After my sister's boyfriend gets off the phone, I tell my sister that the girlfriend is manipulating the hell out of this guy, to which my sister responds, the mental gymnastics. Shocker. His sister says it's not manipulating. He lets her do it. He doesn't want to pressure her into the sex. He loves her. Bullshit. She knows exactly what buttons to push with this guy. And your sister knows it. When I point out how she knew he didn't want this because he didn't like the place that he was in currently, but chose to do it anyway because she knew he couldn't go anywhere, she didn't have a real rebuttal, writing it off as love or something. Of course she'd have a rebuttal. I guess the question for this Ask SSM is for the community. Can you guys give some advice? I think I'll share the response with my sister's boyfriend and see if he thinks it's worth showing this guy. Maybe I'm sticking my nose where it doesn't belong. Maybe my life is so boring that a little bit of drama is too entertaining not to share. Things for me to think about, but thanks again, SSM, and I pray the day never comes where I have to ask you for advice about something like this. So, here's what I think is going on here. Like I said, it's obvious this guy shouldn't be with her if she's obviously having a hoo-ha strike going on here. What I see is this guy is young. He's 24. He's been with her for a couple of years. They got together like 22 or something. According to this dude, that this girl he's with is his first hookup and first true love. And that, for a lot of guys, really screws them up. So he has a attachment to her. One could even call an addiction to her. And because of that attachment, it's very hard to let go, even when he's being mistreated. Add that to the fact that it sounds like he's got depression problems, and that can be a whole other thing. And the guy is not where he wants to be in life. You put that all together, and that is a guy very easily taken advantage of, manipulated. So what I would recommend this guy do, if this guy talks to his friend or it gets down to this dude, I would tell this guy, you're not alone. A lot of guys have done this before, but it's no excuse, okay? As a man, you cannot be treated this way. And by the way, if they haven't been hooking up for 6 months, when prior to that they've been hooking up, man's got needs, and that's totally understandable. But guess what? So do women. So I have a very hard time believing that she, for 6 months, has been getting it anywhere else. Given what I do, given my life experience, I don't think there's one guy watching this that thinks that she isn't getting it elsewhere too. I think she found what she thought was a sure thing. Her nice guy, 3 years younger, that she could obviously have her way with. And this is her tactic to get that ring on the finger. It's the worst thing a guy could ever do, because he is being manipulated into that situation and taken advantage of. And no relationship should be have a foundation like that. And it'd be the same thing if a guy was pressuring a gal into something related to that. You never know. I'd recommend that guy break up with her, as hard as it is, because she doesn't give a shit about him. She just wants that damn ring on her finger, probably just so she can beat the age 30 and have that ring on her finger like all her friends. That's probably the case. I think he needs to break up with her, and he needs to spend time with his buddies and family that have his back and help build him up again, and work hard to pass that test so he can become a firefighter. He failed twice. Okay, we all of us have failed at something in life, but you get back on that horse and you keep trying. I failed my first 2 driver's examinations at 16. And I was bummed as hell. But I passed in the third one, and I got my license the very first driver's test because I had a female cop who was in the car with me, and I just chatted her up and was a charming 16-year-old flirting with her, and I passed in the first try. Go figure. So anyhow, he can't give up. And I guarantee you, he breaks up with her and gets that shit out of his mind and gets away from her and her manipulation tactics and focuses on getting that passing the firefighter's exam, or however that works. And I guarantee you, he does that, he's going to feel a hell of a lot better. He'll be walking taller that instant he passed that, because he'll be a firefighter, and that's badass. And these guys are heroic. The shit they risk their lives to protect people. And that is awesome on so many levels. He'll feel better. And not to mention that women will be after him, because women love firefighters. Okay, I've never seen a woman that didn't find, unless the firefighter is a firefighter who's been doing it for a while with a giant ass beer belly, and you've all seen them. If they're a young guy, because he's young and in decent shape and he's a firefighter, he's going to be, it's a total P-word magnet. But until he gets there, but that part isn't important. The point is, he takes that firefighter thing, he passes it, he's going to feel a lot better. When a man feels good about himself, he's not going to be susceptible to being taken advantage of, manipulated, which this guy is here. And this guy, I'm sure, is a great guy. He's just, unfortunately, young, inexperienced, doesn't know any better. So I would encourage him to break up with her. I would encourage him to get back on his horse and study his ass off to pass that firefighter exam. And mark my words, when he does, it'll be like night and day. And he'll be walking on freaking sunshine. That'll be awesome. So for all guys out there right now, that if you're watching this and if you're honest with yourselves, you are in a place you don't want to be, you're bummed about that, and maybe people will take advantage of you. If you're honest with yourselves, get back on your horse. Keep trying to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve, and you'll feel better about yourself. You'll feel better that you're just trying and working your way to that goal. And once you reach that goal, you're going to feel better about yourself. And when you're feeling good, nobody's going to take advantage of you. And for all that is sacred and holy to this guy and any other guy, do not fall for that trap where all of a sudden the gal pretty much says, that's it, no more SCX, or next to no SCX until you give me what I want. That is not the foundation for any type of healthy relationship at all. But you can see in this story how this guy is prey to her because of that, because he feels so worn down. And by the way, I want to point something out here. I bet you that if that guy passed his firefighter exam and he's a firefighter now and he was feeling good, she wouldn't have pulled this shit. Because number one, I guarantee you, he would have been much more confident, and she would find that attractive and would want to rip his clothes off because he was now feeling attractive and confident and strong and all that. Women don't like weakness. And he'd be a firefighter, he'd have that status, and all her friends would be thinking that's awesome. So I want to mention that little part there. But regardless, even if he passed the exam, he shouldn't be with her because she's shown her true hand. That is not cool. No guy that you love, for a woman, no guy that you love, you would pull that type of shit with. Okay? Not cool. It needs to end. Because if he stays with her and he marries her, puts that ring on her finger, this is only the beginning. There'll be more of this shit going forward. Guaranteed. You guys know this. That you guys have lived long enough, been in a lot of relationships that have gone bad. You know this. And from all the stories I've told. So, to the bro that wrote this in, pass the word. This guy's got to break up with her. Focus on his purpose. Get that firefighters thing. He can do it. It may be very hard, but he'll get there. And his whole life will change around. But got to cut her loose. And any guy out there watching this now, that you're feeling bummed and you feel like you're taken advantage of, focus on your goals and your purpose. It may take you a while to get there, but when you do, you're going to feel so much better. Nobody's going to take advantage of you. And don't get involved with gals and pull this ultimatum or no sex, because no romantic relationship is going to have a hoo-ha strike going on. That's bullshit. And I guarantee you, she's getting taken care of someplace else. Mark my words. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let this guy know what you think about this whole thing I'm talking about. And also, guys, you got a great story like to share, by all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and I definitely will. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.